Shalom Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatham to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilatham Bashim Yahushua to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK. Start out of 1 West Harlem, New York, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Salaki, under the one and only Commander Jen Yohana. And this is the ISUPK Las Vegas Wednesday law class. Today we're going to do a continuation from yesterday's class. So this is a part 2. We're going to, Lord allow, finish up the 2 chapters that I had prepared for yesterday's class. Lord allow, we can finish it today. If not, we'll just have a part 3 on Tuesday. Before we begin, I just ask, is there any questions in the room? So you're going to have that on. Make sure that you turn it down all the way. It goes down to like 61. Oh, you already did? Oh, okay. You got any questions, though, Trooper? All right, no sweat. With that being said, if there's anyone online that has any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. In fact, it's highly encouraged. Also, as well, I ask that for those of y'all that are on YouTube to thumb up the video and also subscribe. Salagi? Yeah, Baba Shah. To thumb up the video on our YouTube page, ISUPK Nevada, and also share the video. Pivot this fan too. You hear me? Pivot this fan so it's that way. I mean, it's blowing into the wall. And then also for the Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas, make sure you thumbs up the video and also share it. It's important that we all do our part to push this truth out to the 4 corners of the earth. You understand? In the meantime, I'm actually going to do that myself, give y'all time to do it yourself, and then also post any questions that y'all may have in the chat. Now, mind you as well, another reason why I decided to continue this class even to today into the law class is because for those of y'all that had tuned in yesterday in the Brotherhood class, the main subject was obviously brotherhood. And so I decided to take another day on the Wednesday law day to just continue from where we left off, because quite frankly, the law does cover brotherhood. Having brotherhood and sisterhood is a law. You understand? Because first and foremost, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, he gave us that law himself. We'll pull that in a minute when the trooper comes back out here. But if you read through it in the New Testament, you understand how the Most High's laws, once you sum it all up together on how we're supposed to deal with our own, the water, how we're supposed to deal with our own people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you understand? When you sum all them laws up on how we're supposed to deal with each other, how do you sum up all in one word, how do you sum all that up? Trooper? When you take all the laws from the Levitical law, from the Mosaic laws, you put them all together, when you sum them up, how do you sum it up in one word? I'm talking about the laws that talks about how we deal with our own. Brotherhood. Exactly. It's brotherhood. You understand? So with that being said, that's exactly why we're continuing on today with the brotherhood class. With these brotherhood scriptures. You understand? Make sure that you're watching on YouTube in case we have anything come up as far as questions and comments. You understand? Give me moment. Finish getting this situated. You turn that one on too? Put on, hit the button so it's on rotate. Bubble shot. Let's see if it'll let me see the doggone comments this time, because sometimes this thing be tripping. Okay, so where did we leave off on verse 18 yesterday?
Yep.
We start on verse 18, right?
Yep.
So we're going to go back into the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 6, and we starting at verse 18. If we already read verse 18, we'll just start at 18. Either way. Let me get that myself. And then we'll move forward. I'm the first Maccabees. So, right. There we go. Yeah. Oh, so like there was a scripture I wanted to pull that Yahushua had said about where he says, "This new commandment I give thee." Pull that scripture. Hey, Shalom, Northern Christ, Don J. Bates. It's good to see you in the class. If you just now tuning in, you got any questions, make sure you put it in the chat, and I'll see to it that I answer to the best of my ability. You gotta go ahead. Hey, Shalom on the Christ, young man John. Good to see you in class again. Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 13, verse 34.
Uh-huh.
A new commandment I give unto you.
Now, what is this? What color is this written in?
Red.
It's in red. So who's speaking? Yahushua Mashiach, our King in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ in the English? Go ahead.
That ye love one another.
That ye love one another. Go ahead.
As I have loved you.
As ye have loved us. Now, is that it on it?
That ye also love one another.
That ye also love one another. I'll call it that. Now, what is that? What is that saying? How do you summarize that? Go ahead and break that down for me, Trooper. What's he saying right there? The half brotherhood. There you go. Just that simple. You understand? Keep it short, simple, and practical. You understand? Yahushua said, what's the very first part? The very first line, what's that say again?
That ye love one another.
First line.
Oh, a new commandment I give unto you.
A new commandment that is given unto you, which is, you sum it all up, the new commandment that Yahushua Mashiach gave us, that brotherhood. Love your brothers the way that your brothers and sisters, the way that I loved y'all. And how much did Yahushua love us? Enough to die for us. You understand? We have to have that same spirit. You understand? We have to be prepared to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. You understand? Hey, what's going on? Shalom, Lord of Christ, Trooper Towers of War. And young man Jones, we are on the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 6, and we're going to start off at verse 18 from where we left off yesterday. All right. So you got that at Maccabees? So I can go ahead and read it when you're ready.
The book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh.
Now, why do you think that he had to be constrained to basically be force-fed to eat swine's flesh? Why was Eleazar constrained to do so? Go ahead, Trooper.
Because they knew he wouldn't do it at all.
Why wouldn't he do that at all?
Because he wasn't going to turn away from the law of sexual.
How you know that?
Because they had to force him.
Because they had a what?
They had to force him to eat it.
You're right. But what else? What else is telling you that? So when you take that little bit of information that you just said, which you are correct, what's the next bit of information in that verse that lets you know that he is, about the law, and he's not going to betray the law? He had to be forced. No, Khan, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing, Trooper Taza War, but I need more from that verse, though. You got it, Trooper?
Would it be the part where it says he was one of the principal scribes?
He was a principal scribe, right? So he was someone who was taking down documents. That's basically taking down information. He was basically, he wrote things down for the nation essentially, right? That's what a scribe is. Okay, so because he was a brother, he was a principal scribe for the Lord, and then also the fact that it's saying that he had to be restrained. That lets you know that this brother was, he was a man of the Lord. He was also an Israelite, mind you, as well. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
Verse 19.
But
he, choosing rather to die gloriously.
He say that again.
But he,
speak up, Baba Kashab.
But he, choosing gloriously,
explain how he would be choosing to die gloriously in this scenario. So right now, they got him constrained, right? They're holding him down, trying to force feed a swine's flesh down his throat. But he said, in his mind, he's like, you know what? Nah, I choose to die gloriously. How do you explain him dying gloriously? Why is it that he would die gloriously? Go ahead.
Because he died fighting.
He died fighting. Okay, you're not necessarily wrong. Go ahead.
Died fighting to prove that these laws, statutes, and grants are most important than anything in life.
Okay, yeah. You right about that as well, Trooper Taza Ward. You pretty much own it. He died obeying the law. When you give up your life for the sake of the Most High, like for example, we started off with his verse in the very beginning, like Yahweh Shai Mashiach, he gave his life for his nation, but ultimately, who did he give his life for? What did Yahweh Shai Mashiach give his life for? Go ahead.
For us.
Okay, but ultimately, because do you think that Yahweh Shai actually wanted to give up his life? If it was his choice, do you think he would have gave up his life? Or do you think let's just say, do you think he wanted to? Period. So what did he give his life up for then?
For the Most High.
For the Most High. You right, John, young man John. But give me more. For the Most High, what?
The Most High law.
For the law, but give me more. There's more to it. He did give up his law his life up for the nation, but ultimately Yahweh Shai Mashiach gave up his life, and that was glorious because he did it because it was Salaki. I got a little mixed up. Yahweh Shai gave up his life because it was simply the will of the Lord. It's just simply because it was the will of the Lord. Y'all understand? So now, mind you as well, because Yahweh Shai did pray to the Lord, numerous times the night before he was killed. You understand? Where he was pleading with the Lord, kind of praying all night, damn near. Lord, if it is your will, remove this cup from me. If it is your will. Now, if it's not, and obviously I'm paraphrasing. Matter of fact, find that verse for me, where Yahweh Shai has said, Lord, remove this cup from me. Yahushua was pleading with the Most High because he didn't want to die. He wanted to live his life. But what was more important than his life? Go ahead. The will of the Most High. So with this brother Eleazar, how did he die gloriously? What made his death glorious? Or if we haven't found out just yet so far from what we read, but with his mindset that he would choose to die gloriously over eating a swine's flesh, what would make it glorious? Go ahead.
Because it was the will of the Most High.
Shalom. Is that, you see how simple that is? You understand? ISUPK, Israelite School of Practical Knowledge. You know, you just deal with these things practically. You deal with these kind of questions. You deal with the entire Bible practically. You understand? And that's when the Bible actually makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Did you get that for me?
Count.
Go ahead and read that when you got it.
The book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 42. Saying, Father, if thou be willing.
If thou be willing. So in today's terms, how would you say that? If thou be willing. How was I saying that to the Lord? But how would you say that today?
If you're willing.
If it's your will. Like if this is what you want. If it is what you want, go ahead.
Remove this cup from me.
What is the cup that Yahushua is referring to right here?
Would that be right before he died?
Like, essentially, yeah. What has to be carried out. It wasn't a physical cup or a literal cup. It's what had to be drank, what had to be carried out for, you know, everything to come into fruition. Now, mind you as well, what do you think would have happened if the Lord changed his mind and had decided, you know what, I'm gonna spare my only begotten son? What do you think would have happened?
I mean, probably be still deeper in our.
Oh, you'd be a whole lot deeper. A lot of prophecies wouldn't be fulfilled because of that. But because it was the Lord's will to take Yahushua, have Yahushua die as an innocent man, now these prophecies are able to unfold the way that, you know, the way that they have been for the last couple thousand years. You understand? It's taking some time, but the point is, the ball is rolling. You got any more on that?
John. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done.
Now, read that last part one more time.
Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done.
Read that whole verse for me, and then I want you to break that down.
Saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done.
What was his prayer right there? What did he just say in his prayer?
Basically saying, if this is your will for me, I'm dying for our nation.
Make sure you speak up and make sure they hear you.
But this is your will for me to die for our nation, then
no, you know, you saying it right. Go ahead. If it is your will for me to die for the nation, go ahead.
Then, so basically, you know, so be it. But if not, then that's basically it. That's your will. If not.
But also, what was Yahushua asking for though? For not to be, not necessarily not to be his will, but, you know, he's pleading with the Lord, like, man, if I don't have to do this, if I don't have to, please take this from me. Please take this from me. But if this is your will, then so be it. Like as you said, then so be it. We'll go through. I'll obey what your word is. I will carry out what your will is. Because now, mind you as well, what came first? These apocryphal books that were removed in the chronological timeline, were the apocryphal books, did they happen, or was Christ on the scene first?
They happened first.
So Now, mind you as well, with that being said, doesn't that mean that Yahweh have read the same exact book, the same exact chapter, the same exact verse, the same exact story that we going over today? So don't you think as well, when you got a brother like, Eleazar, who said, you know what, I'd rather give my life and die gloriously than to simply just eat swine. Don't you think that Yahweh, that gave Yahweh that type of motivation and love, compassion, and hope that, the Lord, when it's just the Lord's will, things will unfold. Things will carry out the way that the Lord had, planned out and set up, right? So, I mean, you understand? All right, Most High, go ahead and read 19 from the top, and then go ahead.
But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with an abomination, spit it forth and come of his own accord to the torment.
Man, so instead, he knew he was going to be killed. And in fact, they tortured the brother because he just spat out the swine's flesh. Was you checking YouTube? Anything on there? All right, Most High, go ahead.
Verse 20. That is, as it behoved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things, and are not lawful for the love of life to be tasted.
Right, so what's that saying right there? Do you know? As it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things. What's that saying right there?
Is that basically saying, like, well, I'm not sure what behooved them, but
what do you think you should do if you're not sure what that word means?
behoove is a duty or responsibility for someone to do something.
Okay, so for those that as it behooved them to come, as it was their obligation, their duty to come, go ahead, that are resolute to stand out against such things. What are these such things?
Taking part of eating pork, lobster, crab, and other sinful things.
No, right, exactly. To stand out against those things, right? It's so lucky, man. It's so Vegas get hot out here, man. Let me tell you, it's lucky. We in the triple digits today, man. It's ridiculous. Okay, so you're right. So for it is their duty to stand up against those, these wicked things, these abominable things, right? Like eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. Mind you, as well, yesterday we had touched on how the Gentiles came into our temple and did what? Trooper, check on learning. Man, all manners of wickedness, right? They had orgies. They was having sex with all sorts of harlots, eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, all sort, on our altar, just doing anything to defile the joint. You understand? So we supposed to stand up against that. We supposed to stand up against all manners of wickedness, right? Go ahead and read on.
As are not lawful for the love of life to be tasted.
What's the love of life? What's the love of life, and what are the things that's not supposed to be? If you have the love of life, what's not supposed to be tasted?
The love of life, let's say, wouldn't that be the fear of God and the commandments?
Yeah, the law, statutes, commandments. That is life right there. So now, I feel like I know what you're gonna say when I ask this question. If you say what I think, it's no. What do you think that's not supposed to be tasted?
Anything outside of the law.
Man, Most High Christ. You surprised the hell out of me. You read my mind. But what I was actually, the one word I was actually looking for was wickedness. But you know what? That was pretty much the same exact thing. So Most High in Christ. I see that you've been paying attention, Trooper. Watch your damn officer's test coming up soon, man. Just keep on studying. You understand? Verse 20. Go ahead and read verse 20. So like, yeah, go ahead.
But they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
All right. What just happened? Explain to me what just happened, and to explain to help these Christians that might be watching, but also our unlearned brothers and sisters that are tuning in to be taught. Go ahead and break that down for him, Trooper. Read it out loud. It'll help. I've noticed that it's always helped you, but also myself, considering the fact we come from the same loins. When we read out loud, even just to ourselves, and take your time. Make sure that you follow all the punctuation. When it's a comma, do a slight little pause like your English teacher told you. You understand?
But they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought to bring him of his own flesh, of his own, to bring him, besought to bring flesh of his own provision.
Okay, now break that down for me right now. But they that have the charge of that wicked feast. What's that saying? Just start break it down slow from there. And if there's anybody online as well that wants to give a little quick synapse breakdown, I am watching the chat.
Is that talking about the beginning of the chapter they had they defiled the temple?
No, because it's talking about this specific feast that Eleazar is. It's not necessarily like a celebratory feast, because mind you, they're trying to force feed Eleazar the swine. So they're trying to say that is the feast. You understand? So someone is given charge, but they that had charge of that wicked feast. Who do you think that is? Or what does it mean to have charge of anything? The answer's within the question. To have charge of something, you're in charge of it. So there's somebody that was in charge, right? For the old acquaintance they had with the man, right? So for one of them that was in charge, what was he? To the old man, to Eleazar. He was an acquaintance. It's somebody they knew each other, right? Go ahead and break down the rest.
Taking him aside.
Took him aside. That's plain and simple.
Besought him to bring flesh of his own provision.
So what's that saying right now? He besought him to bring flesh of his own provision. Most High in Christ. The trooper right now is looking up the word. I'm guessing besought. Provision. Provision. Okay, no sweat. Does anyone online? If y'all could break that down before he does, I'll let y'all know after he attempts it, if you got it right or wrong. While he's doing that, I'm gonna just take a brief moment real quick just to remind y'all, for those of y'all that are on YouTube, make sure that you thumbs up the video and also share it. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel, ISUPK Nevada, for YouTube. And then, you know, if you on Facebook right now, you know, take a few minutes just to hop over to the YouTube, it's like it, the YouTube to, you know, support our YouTube channel and help us grow. You understand? Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the ISUPK Nevada YouTube page. You know what I'm saying? That way you can help boost our algorithm to push out this this word to the four corners of the earth. You understand? And then, of course, for those of y'all that are on YouTube, make sure you hop over on Facebook and look up ISUPK Las Vegas. Make sure you thumbs up the page, like the page, and then also thumbs up the video and share it. You understand? Everybody do your part to push out this word. You understand? You having a hard time finding provision?
No, I'm just trying to figure out.
Okay, how about you read the definition now, and then I'm gonna help
you. Provision: the action of providing or supplying something for use.
So, what do you think that thing is for use? Now, mind you, this is an acquaintance. This is why I'm asking you to break it down, because I want to make sure. Because we could have just went through this verse. I would have asked you, "You understand this?" And there might have been a certain point that you didn't understand, right? So I wanted to make sure before we even move on that not only just you understand this, but everybody that's watching. You understand? So what do you think that provision was? Because mind you as well, this is an acquaintance, right? This is an old acquaintance of the old man. So they know each other. Doesn't that also entail that this man knows that Eleazar is a scribe? Can you pivot that so it's actually like hitting us? Baba Kashad. Man, like I'm over here. Whew. Damn near crying, man. All these doggone sweats. Salaki, y'all. Water. So what do you think that provision is, given the circumstance and the relationship to the individual that has charge of the feast, the wicked feast, and the old man? Anybody online think that they know?
Been teaching the law, statutes, and commandments.
Nah. All right. No sweat. We're gonna find out. Read the rest of that. So after provision, and read it loud.
Such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
Okay, so what do you think that provision is?
The flesh, eating of the swine.
You think the provision is the flesh of swine? Read that last part again where it says, taking him aside, and read on from there. Because mind you, we understand that this acquaintance of Eleazar took him to the side. Hey, man, come here. Let me talk to you real quick. Let me spit at you real quick, right? Go ahead.
Taking him aside, he sought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use.
Stop. Shouldn't that be a clue right there? Such as that was lawful for him to use. Read on.
And make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king.
So what is this acquaintance of his insinuating that Eleazar do? What's he asking him to do? What's he pulling him aside for a quick little sidebar counsel? Hey, Most High in Christ, sis, that's exactly what it is. Trooper, come on. I know you got it. I know you know it, man. You smart.
Would it be to say that he
Okay, so how would go ahead?
Actually, don't do it. Just say that he did, so he doesn't.
But how is he going to give off that appearance? Because mind you as well, it has to be for sure. For sure, it's not just going to be, hey man, like I'm going to tell them that you ate it, and then we're going to say that you ate it, and like that be that. The acquaintance is saying something else. Mind you as well, when you read, it says that it's going to be a provision that is lawful for him to use, and something lawful for him to basically get around and sidestep eating the swine's flesh, but to not give up his life because he won't eat. So he'll be able to keep his life and not eat something unclean and abominable unto the Lord. How? Money, bribery, Trooper Child's Award. All right, for time's sake, I'm gonna give it to you. The sister Leah, she said it. It's a lawful animal for sacrifice. He simply just brought him some chicken or some beef or something he can't eat and said, man, listen, this is from my provision. This is from my stock. This is my, this is mine, right? This is my beef. Eat some of my beef, bruh, and just tell them that you ate that swine flesh. And then that way you can preserve your life. Now, this is how heavy that this man, bruh, this brother is about the Lord. And you're going to see why. Go ahead and read on verse 22.
That in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor.
So mind you as well, they've been friends for a hot minute. And he didn't want, the acquaintance, the friend, he didn't want to lose his friend, right? And so, as I said, this is to preserve his life so he won't be killed because he refuses to eat the swine, right? Go ahead.
But he began to consider discreetly.
So now he's thinking about it like to himself. He's not even consoling with the other. Go ahead.
And as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereunto he was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God.
Hold on. Now, right here, he's thinking about, man, I'm pretty much already old, bro. I'm old. I've got the wisdom. I understand what's going on right now, right? I understand that if I were to do this, it's gonna throw off the younger ones from what they should be doing, essentially. And basically, because he's going to give off, if he were to do that, he would give off the appearance that he ate the swine's flesh. Now, who else is there to see that? It's not just the king is going to witness that. Who else gets to see that? That this scribe, that this honorable man, this man who's about to die gloriously, who else would see that? That he ate swine's flesh, that the youth look up to. Go ahead. Israelites. So, in other words, what is this brother prepared to do in the midst of dying gloriously? What is he contemplating? What is he consoling with himself about? What is the conclusion that he's ultimately coming to with that being said? I try to refrain from saying that because Officer Bakar big on throwing that in my face. With that being said, but go ahead. With that being said.
Basically, just not breaking the law, not making it even seem like he's breaking the law, willing to die.
Okay, he chose to be, you right, sis. He chose to be a righteous example to his own people. But how is that him being a righteous example, though? Give me a little bit more than that. How is he being a righteous example? Can you answer that, Trooper? How is his brother being a righteous example with that taking those things into consideration like that? Okay, he isn't lying to preserve his life. Okay, I need see you right on track. You right around the corner. Like if you would just step away from the corner and giving the appearance of eating unlawful meat. There you go. Give the sister a hand. He'll give off if he were to do that and follow what his acquaintance had asked him to do, he's gonna give off the appearance that he's eating unlawful meat. And so what's gonna happen because of the other Israelites that look up to him? They'll start to do the same. Because if he did it, I should do it. Now, mind you as well, again, who else read this and got see, hope isn't the word that I'm looking for, but and motivation is too weak of a word, I believe. But who else read this and then practiced it to the fullest? Because he also practiced the law to the fullest. Yahushua Mashiach. He got, courage. There we go. Doggone it. A lot, mind you as well, a lot of Yahushua Mashiach's courage came out of books and stories like this that we're reading today. Because his brothers, his forefathers, he read that his forefathers before him, his brothers and sisters before him that walked the earth before he did as Yahushua Mashiach. Mind the key word as is the key word. That wasn't the only time he walked the earth, but we'll do that breakdown another time. We'll probably do it after we finish with these two chapters, the week after. But as Yahushua Mashiach, as Jesus Christ, he read this and he was able to maintain his courage. To maintain his courage to do as he was commanded to do by whom? The will of the Lord. Most High Christ, man. Give yourself a hand. It's that simple. Stay practical, bro. Stay on topic. There you go. All right? But yes, sis, that's exactly what it is. To keep himself with the appearance of a righteous man so that he doesn't even give up the appearance to make it seem like, oh, he ate the swine. We all know he did it. He knows he did it. So like him and the other individual, they know that he did it. He said, you know what? I was Salaki. I'm about to give y'all a spoiler alert. Salaki. To me, this is my MCU, my Marvel Comics universe. You understand? And I don't want to spoil the movie for y'all. I don't want to spoil the story for y'all. Because, man, but this right here, Eleazar, this right here, this is another one of them superheroes. That should be a part of the Justice League. Where Yahushua Mashiach leaded it himself. You understand? Being the Avengers. You understand? Where Yahushua leading the force. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and read on.
Therefore, he answered accordingly and willed them straightway to send him to the grave.
Now, hold on now. We ain't just going to move on from there. What did he just say? Read that again.
Therefore, he answered accordingly.
So, therefore, this is how he answered. Go ahead.
And willed them straightway to send him to the grave.
What did he just say? How did he answer? How was it that he answered?
Let me die.
Let me die. So, what did he say? Give me precept what he said. Precept what he said. What did he say that he's just gonna do?
I'm not gonna eat it and just let me die.
Okay. Give me something that we already read. It's in the same chapter. It should be real simple. What did he say he would rather? Now, mind you as well, Salaki, what would he rather do than even give off the appearance that he ate this unlawful meat? Just the appearance. He was willing of course he would have ate some lawful meat. A lost, you right, Trooper Taza Ward, but I'm gonna see if this trooper gonna get it. Obviously, he would have been willing to eat the lawful meat, right? He would have ate the lawful meat if it hadn't gave off the appearance to that he was going to do something unlawful and abominable unto the Lord, right? So what was it that he said, I would rather do than even give off the appearance, let alone actually do it? But he even took it a step further. I won't even give the appearance off. What would he rather do? Go ahead, Trooper.
Rather die.
Okay, but die what?
Die gloriously.
Die gloriously. And that's exactly what Trooper Taza Ward said. Young man John, you was on there as well. Most High Christ, y'all paying attention. You understand? So he said, nah, man. Instead of even giving off the appearance that I ate this swine, man, I'm what I was already thinking before you came to me with this proposition to preserve my life, I'm still on the same note. I would rather die gloriously. Why do you think that? Before we read on, why do you think he still chose to die gloriously?
Because he doesn't want the other Israelites that look up to him that if he were to eat that, they don't know if that was
To instill courage in them, the ones that are actually looking up to him with their own eyes, to instill courage in them as well. That you know what, this law is worth dying for. The will of the Lord is worth dying for. You understand? Being this example is worth dying for. Now, mind you as well, it may not have motivated and gave that the courage to each and every single individual Israelite brother and sister that watched him, watch what proceeded forth afterwards. But who did it also? Who did it and reinforce courage with? Who did this action? Who did it reinforce courage with? Yahweh Mashiach. Yahweh Mashiach, man. Or Jesus Christ. Now, I want y'all to understand one thing as well. Because we started off with bringing out the fact that brotherhood is a commandment that we did get from our Lord and Savior. You understand? Yahweh Mashiach in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ in the English. You understand? What I want y'all to understand is, biblically, according to the law, Yahweh was perfect, right? Christ is perfect. But how do you think, I want y'all to take this into consideration because they don't teach this in the Christian church. How did he maintain his perfection? How? Now, Salakia, if you've been paying attention, my answer is going to be the same thing I've been saying damn near this entire, almost hour we've been in here. Okay? And Salakia, I sound like a broken record. But it's something that has to be instilled. That's why I keep on repeating myself with a lot of these, a lot of the things that we read. When we read something, I'm basically saying the same thing that, pertains to the last verse and the last verse and the last verse. I give you the same exact answer, the same exact reason why we're supposed to do something. But mind you as well, if you actually read and stop listening to these Christian pastors that only just want to get in anything that involves your pants. And it don't matter if you a man or woman, a man child or a woman child, quite frankly. And that's the reality of things. You got money in there, and if you got something they interested in, then pastors want to get in your pants. Period. One way or another. There's something that interests them. You understand? They don't teach this on how Yahweh Mashiach was able to maintain being as courageous as he was. And what was that? What kept Yahweh's courageous will intact at all times? Trooper.
The fear of God, following the commandments.
The fear of God and following the commandments. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. Because, of course, obviously, he feared God. But there's something else as well. Something else that the ISUPK is teaching today. Yes, we are teaching the fear of God. We are teaching the law, statutes, and commandments. But there's a third thing that we've been missing for the last thousands of years. Trooper. Brotherhood, but I need, for this one time, I need a little bit more about the brotherhood. And I know what I just said gonna throw you off just a little bit. Go ahead.
Willing to die for each other.
Okay, but how do you have courage? How do Yahushua have the courage to die for us like that, though? You're right. You're walking down them steps. You're walking down them. You're still on the right track. But what kept his courage to even die for us in the first place? You said brotherhood. You're right. You're still on the right track. You said the fear of the Lord. You said the law, statutes, commandments. All on the right track. But there's something that has been said, just hasn't came out of your hasn't been rolled off your tongue yet. That helped him with his brotherhood, with his fear of the Lord, with him following the law, statutes, commandments. I'm trying to think of an example. Go ahead.
Would it be the will of the Lord?
I mean, that's still the law, statutes, commandments. It's the fear of the Lord. Not that one. No, it's not. It's not the will of the Lord. That's not what I'm looking for. It is something that I spoke about, though, today. And I'm asking y'all these questions the way that I have been because, I mean, they all relate to the same thing, ultimately. You understand? They all tie in together. You understand? It's one big, huge network. His desire to be an example to his people. La'ah says, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm going to give y'all, all right, when this says 50 seconds, I'm going to give y'all until 53:15. All right, so there we go. And then I'll give it to y'all for time's sake. What do y'all think helps you? What brought you into the brotherhood in the first place? The same thing that brought you into the brotherhood to the ISUPK is essentially what should maintain it. All right, so time's up. Anybody else? Give it a shot again. Come on, just say it. Quit thinking about it, man. Just say it. Just say it. Be wrong. Be wrong, goddammit. It's on the tip of your tongue. I see you want to say it. Said, okay, so Sister Shemaya said the Most High. Trooper Tazawar said the truth. Sister Just, like I don't want to mess up your name. She said grace. La'ah. The funny thing is, if y'all reading along, you holding it in your hand. That's my last hint. Now I expect an answer. But there's a specific word I want for that answer, though. Not just the Bible. Now that's your hint. That's your ultimate hint. What is the Bible?
The Word of God.
Okay, it's the Word of God, the will of God. But what else is it? What is it to us? What is it to you right now? When you reading this, what is it to you? Salvation, la'ah, that's not what I'm looking for.
My history.
It's your history. Now, mind you as well, who else's history? Because we asking about Yahushua Mashiach, because he read this story too. What kept his courage from reading his people's history? to be prepared to die for his people just because it was the will of the Lord. The history of our culture, yeah, right? I mean, you a little bit closer from what y'all been spitting at, but what else? All right, I'm gonna look for one more answer, man. I'm gonna give you 1 minute. Y'all got 60 seconds. I'm watching the timer. So I really want y'all to think for yourselves, man. This ain't the Christian church in the ISUPK. You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna read something that come out of the doggone scriptures. And I want you to think for yourself how to come to the answer for yourself. Because once you learn to think practically and answer certain small questions practically in the Bible, man, all you doing each time is just leveling up. It's like for those of y'all that play video games, I love me some RPGs. You understand? Them level up games and when I love doing that. You kill something at the same level over and over again, you get enough experience, you level up. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I'm trying to do for y'all. This is why you practice this is why you practice for those of y'all that play sports. You go to practice every day to essentially level up. You hit the gym so you can level up. You get bigger, you get stronger. You understand? But you ain't gonna level up if somebody just keeps on giving you the answer and just hands it to you. Man, y'all killing me, Smalls. You got 20 seconds. So like now you got 20 seconds. Sis. She said, choosing to die gloriously rather than go against the will of his father. That's not what I'm looking for. 5 seconds. And time. What I'm looking for is what maintain Yahweh Mashiach's brotherhood, his courage, everything. After the fact that this was the will of the Lord, his will, his courage came up because of these documents, because of what brothers like we reading right now. This brother, mind you, I said it earlier in class, and that was my big hint. This is why I said I expect an answer. Because Yahweh Mashiach read this story that we reading right now. Now, mind you as well, Eleazar was ready to die for the people that was just simply watching. Christ died for those that came even after and wanted to change their lives. Y'all understand? Do you understand that? You understand what I'm saying now, Trooper? You understand what I'm getting at? That it wasn't just as simple as, what Eleazar did. Essentially, he did the same thing that Jehoshaphat did. Similar. You understand? What his blemishes were, I'm unsure. As far as I know, he might have had some blemishes on, for what he did wrong, right or wrong. Because come to find out, Yahushua Mashiach is the only one that stayed truly perfect through and through again. You understand? I mean, hell, you had Job who was always upright and righteous, but he still questioned when he was receiving his, it wasn't a judgment, but his test to see how righteous he really was. And he sat there and questioned, like, why me? What the hell did I do? Yahushua, nah, man, like, this is the will of the Lord, like, then so be it. As you said, which was so beautifully put. So beautifully put. It's how you say so be it in Hebrew. Amen. Amen. Most High in Christ, you paying attention, man. You learning. That's what I'm saying, bro. Just keep doing what you're doing, bro. That officer test gonna be thrown straight at you. See me one time real quick, Baba Shah. But back on topic, back on subject, man. Not only are we supposed to just simply follow after Yahweh Shah Mashiach for us to maintain our courage, to maintain our strength in this truth, we need to also, that's why it's so important. That's why none of these, there's not a single book in the King James 1611. I know I'm holding up two different books, but mind you, in, what did you say yesterday, 1848? These books right here was removed out of this book. It was what? 28? Okay, kind. So, it's a lot. So in the year 1828, the Roman Catholic Church removed these books that you find in the Apocrypha. And mind you as well, look up what the word Apocrypha means. I challenge y'all to look up what that word means in the first place, which will make it even make more sense as to why it was done. So grab me one of them as well, Baba Kashad. It don't matter which one. Just give me some of that juice. So like I lost my train of thought. Give me one moment. This is essentially. Oh, okay. There's a certain reason why when you look up what this word means, apocrypha. You understand? When you look up what this word means, it'll help clarify why the Roman Catholic Church even removed those books. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna one up that. I'm gonna give you some information that's even better. Just post it right there. Just post it right there. It's a while. All right, right here. Put it right here. The water. I'm gonna give you one better. When you read these books, guess what it does? Trooper, can you tell me what happens when you read the Apocrypha? I'm not sure if you heard this question before, but can you tell me what the importance of reading the Apocrypha is? At least one of the important factors of reading the Apocrypha?
From reading this story, I feel like it gives you courage.
Okay, it reinstills courage. Okay, Most High in Christ, I can dig that. But we stepping outside of this class for just a moment. What we directly teaching. What I'm directly teaching for today's class. Can you tell me why the Apocrypha books was even removed in the first place? Why do you think that the Roman Catholics decided, you know what? These books need to be removed from the Bible. They took it upon themselves to remove, like the trooper said, because he's not incorrect. They took it upon themselves to remove a very major portion of our courage. Because now, when they took this away, this took away a lot of our history, a lot of our documents, a lot of the stories that brings us the courage that essentially Yahweh Shah Mashiach had. Y'all understand? Sis said to remove our history. That's part of it. John Jones, to hide the truth. You own it. You, young man John, you right on the answer. You damn near just gotta turn one more stone and it's right in front of you. To hide what truth? They removed the Apocrypha books to hide the truth. What truth? Because if you actually read through these books, what truth is being hidden? That I can't. Okay, I don't want to say that because it'll be a dead giveaway. I want to see if y'all know first. And I'll give y'all 90 seconds from now. The truth of Israel. Give me more of that though. What is the truth of Israel that is being hidden when you remove the Apocrypha books? So, okay, I can give y'all this hint. Without the Apocrypha books, it's a lot easier to deceive the people, all people, not just the Israelites, but all people, that this book was for everybody in turn. Everybody. Salaki. Salaki. The New and the Old Testament, it's a whole lot more easier. True brotherhood and sisterhood. Mind you, sis, we're stepping outside of the main topic right now. Okay. Well, actually, no, y'all got 15 seconds. And I'm going to give it to y'all for time's sake. All right, 5 seconds. I'm going to give a 10-second buffer because I believe Facebook is about like 8 seconds behind. See what I can get. Trooper?
Let's say like behind the truth of our people's courage and like
Make sure you speak up when you answer as well.
like who we really are, I guess. 'Cause I feel like it leaves out a lot of
Who we really are. Who the Israelites really are. So yeah. That's why they're removed the apocryphal books. If you look up and to see the truth on who the real Israelites are and who the blessings belong to. Now, mind you, blessings is different. Keep in mind, sis, that there's heathen nations that receive blessing. Esau received the blessing. They got the blessing of the sword. That's why when it comes to war, ain't nobody really get down with Esau. You understand? The Ishmaelites or the Middle Eastern, the Arabs, the real Muslims, they got blessings as well. You understand? But the reason why the apocryphal books, and y'all can look this up for yourself, why the Roman Catholic Church have removed these books is because ultimately it identifies who the Israelites are. Y'all understand? It'll help you identify. So with that being said, with y'all, see there I go again saying it. With y'all that haven't read the apocryphal books, read the apocryphal books. If you questioning, doubting that the Bible ain't just for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, read the apocryphal books. It'll help you identify. And mind you as well, a lot of the high holy days that Yahweh Shai Mashiach have held, like the Feast of Dedication, that came from the apocryphal books. It's found nowhere in the Bible but in the apocryphal books. That's why it's important to have these books that they removed. But when you look it up why they removed those books, you know what the Roman Catholics had decided, what their reasoning was for removing these books? Because they weren't important. Let's fast forward that to 200 years to today. Is it important for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to know who the hell they are according to the church, according to the so-called white man, according to the Asian man, according to the Africans? Mind you as well, Africans real quick to tell you that we are not the same people. Even though that so-called Negroes, my people, my tribe, the tribe of Judah, we love to affiliate with Africa. Hell, even the Benjamites love to try to affiliate with Africa. Haiti love to try to affiliate with the tribe with Africa. Even tried to join into the African Union. They say you ain't African enough. You understand? They real quick to tell us who we're not, but won't tell us who we are. Think about that now. We are born into this world fighting for our own identity. The truth of our identity. You understand? Only Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have that plague upon them. Only. But it's because of the love of the Most High that, first of all, we didn't end up like the original Australian Aboriginals who had genocide committed on them. Was it wasn't Australia. It was Tasmania, Salakia, Tasmanian island. Whom of which, just quick little fun fact, Tasmanian devil was named after the people of the Tasmanian Islands because they were very, what's the word? In warfare, they were very ferocious, very, people of fury when they got down, when it came down to war. But they're extinct today. Ultimately, why did that happen? Because the Lord didn't deal with them in the first place. What happens to you? Like, you spittle, bruh. I never have to worry about that portion of spit again. That's just like the rest of the spit. Because mind you as well, who else is going to go extinct? That's prophecy. Who else is going to go extinct? True. Esau going to go extinct. Esau going to pay back what he owes. He's going to build our kingdom. Play a part. Mind you, there's certain things that I might just have in. That's a lie. If I made, if I have Edomites on my land, Lord allow me to, own some Edomite slaves and whatnot. I don't want them to design it nothing. That's my cherry pickers. That they my collectors. But mind you as well, they the ones who gonna get the worst of all punishments. Can you tell me why? And can you also tell me why that's righteous? Go ahead.
They did it for us, and that's justice.
Exactly. Because they did it to us. And mind you as well, there are people here that try to say how, but the Irish came over here as slaves. Were the Irish slaves treated the same way as niggas? Nope. In fact, they weren't even slaves. They were servants. The difference between the American servant and the American slave is that a servant is working off a debt. That slave died. Unless that slave master sold them off onto another plantation, that slave was born and raised and died on that plantation. But the Irish nigger, in time, he got to walk the streets a free man without paperwork. Didn't need papers. Set up shop, created some businesses. Hell, a lot of the saloons, the doggone bars and whatnot. Hell, what's really prominent in business that comes from the black culture, the Native American culture? What? Barbecue food? It's the same thing even with the doggone Hispanics. The only thing that we can really do is labor, servitude. Because we can serve you food and we can clean up the shit that you too doggone lazy to clean. Oh, mind you as well, just like the country that we built, we can build you a backyard and clean it up too. That's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's pretty much the only businesses that have any form of prosperity here in America. But it ain't nothing near what all the other businesses are. Where you can make buku money off of the liquor that they make off of us. I like you. But as I said, as I was getting at, let me get backtrack to my topic. I like you. Yahushua Mashiach read these documents, our history, our scribes, to maintain his courage to die for you. His courage came from the brothers and sisters before him, and also the brothers and sisters that he was surrounded with, to be prepared and follow through with giving his life for his brothers and sisters that he loved so much. But it all started right here, mind you, the same place where he found who he was in the first place, to find that he was the Christ. Y'all understand? Now, if we supposed to follow after Christ's footsteps, after Yahweh Shai Mashiach's footsteps, what is the thing that we should do as Israelites? Since we're supposed to follow, what should we do? What should we do to follow after Yahweh to maintain our courage, to be prepared to give our lives? That's the question. And sometimes this is why I'm glad I sidebar just a little bit, because when we wrap back to the original question and everything, because essentially this is the original question that got me sidebarring, to make sure that you really paying attention. And I'm not going to say that y'all ain't paying attention, but retaining the information is what's important. You can pay attention all you want, but are you retaining it? You understand what I'm saying? Young man said to follow statute, judgments, and commandments. The law, statutes, commandments. I understand what you're saying. No, that's not what I'm looking for right now. What? You are right, though. That's just not what I'm looking for right now. Make sure you know what, I'll do it. No, that's what I got it. Oh, she has good. Oh, okay. Somebody was responding. But I think she switched over to Facebook anyway. So, what are we supposed to do, just like Christ, to maintain our courage? Just went over it. It's the same answer that should bring you into the truth. See, now at this point, now I'm being very repetitive because y'all ain't giving me the answer I'm looking for. And again, I'm not trying to say that y'all ain't paying attention. I'm just trying to make sure that y'all retaining the information, because this is an important information. Because when you understand what Yahweh Shai did to even maintain his courage in the first place, I mean, it's the same exact thing. Or when you understand that, and you understand that you're supposed to follow after Christ, after him, you should do every single thing. Straight and narrow is the path. It's so straight and narrow that literally, when we walk through the path of righteousness, it should be foot on foot. And that doesn't mean like you walking on somebody else's foot. What I mean is you walking, when somebody steps and picks up their foot, they leave a footprint. The person that's behind them should leave a footprint as well. This is something I learned in the military when you clear out minefields, is that you have the minesweeper at point, obviously, because he's sweeping the mines. And if y'all not out there to dig them up, you just follow his path, step by step. Because if you go slightly to the right or slightly to the left, what do you risk? Getting blown the fuck up. It's like getting blown the hell up. Destruction. Your body destroyed. Your life is gone, ended, done. Depending on the type of mine that it is. Because if it's anti-infantry, if it's designed for a person to step on it, sometimes they set up their mines to maim you. So you're just going to lose a leg. But sometimes you step on an anti-vehicle mine, which, mind you as well, they set at, I believe the minimum is on average, it's either 250 or 350 pounds. Now, mind you, if you go into the gym like how I was when I was in Afghanistan, where I was going 3 times a day, sometimes 4 times a day, out of boredom, and I got up to 215. Then you had all that damn equipment on your back, plus your weapons, or your plates. You look at up north of 100 pounds that you carrying on top of your weight, easily putting you at the minimal anti-vehicle weight threshold to set off a mine. It's one thing to get taken out with an anti-personnel mine, but it's a whole nother game to get taken out with an anti-vehicle mine. Think about that now. You understand? Straight and narrow is the path. So what's that straight? What else that I'm looking for that we already discussed should you be doing that Yahushua did to maintain your courage? Sis, you right, continue studying, yes. You on right now, you on the track. Continue studying. Go ahead, Trooper.
I was going to say the same exact thing.
Okay, what does studying do for you?
Well, also,
Why is it that studying reinforces Yahushua's courage? Like how it should for us today.
because he read stories like this.
He read stories like this. God damn it, give yourself a hand. That's exactly, you see how simple that was? And in fact, we wrapping back around to what I said earlier. But what's important is making sure that you retain the information. You understand what I'm saying? You know, we don't do written tests like that in the ISUPK where, you know, we're going to do a test every Sunday to go over everything that we had covered in the week before. We don't do stuff like that. You get a test for the officer's test, yeah, but we don't do a check on learning like that. Because at the end of the day, it's for you to test yourself. If you really about something, mind you, look at all of history when anything's really been invented, especially by a black, Hispanic, or Native American man. A lot of times they in prison, because that still goes on today, and it amazes me the stories that I hear about brothers in prison, the things that they make out in prison, and with the detail as well. One of my ribs, she's in healthcare, and she's got this brother that she as one of her clients, that when he was in prison used to make like these roses, flowers out of toilet paper and sell it to the other inmates so that they can send it home. And with good detail. She showed me one of them, like, man, this brother trying to steal my rib. Like, I need to go learn how to twist up some doggone toilet paper my damn self. Because that shit dope. I'm not even going to flex. Like, that shit was dope. Had the thorns on it, the leaves coming up the stem, you know what I'm saying? The parting of the petals and everything. The only thing that he had to do was just manufacture some sort of perfume, which I'm pretty sure he could figure out if he just put his mind to it and spread the damn thing. And now you got a beautiful toilet paper rose. You understand what I'm saying? The point is when a black, Hispanic, or Native American man puts his mind to do something, man, we the greatest, period. We the greatest. When we have that focus, we the greatest. Yahushua Mashiach had that focus. You understand? All right, so lock you. Let's get back on, continue backtracking and get on finishing this, at least this chapter. Go ahead. Verse 24.
Verse 24. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now gone to a strange religion.
So first off, I want to ask, how old was he? He said 80 years and 10.
90, right?
You're right, but how you know that?
Well,
What's a score?
the score is 20 years.
It's 20. A score is 20. It doesn't have to. Okay, just so you know, a score doesn't only pertain to age. It doesn't only pertain to time. That's what I meant to say. So score isn't 20 years. It's just 20. It's just that. And the reason why I'm just clarifying that with you is because, of course, when you go through Exodus and Leviticus, when you go through the Old Testament and they count certain things, actually just all throughout, and they count things, I don't want you to get confused at any time that they say, okay, something's 3 scores, and you're like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a measurement of counting. Simple as that. All right, Most High Christ. So he's 90 years old. All right. So he said, for it becoming not our age, said he, it's not for our age, in any wise to dissemble, for us to come apart. Just because I'm old doesn't mean that I need to fall off from my people. That's what that's saying right there. You understand? Whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 90 years old, were now gone to a strange religion. So let's go back to what I was asking y'all before. If he were to eat that pork, what would have happened? If he would have been a sellout, like Martin Luther King, what would have happened? The youth would have followed suit. If he were to give off the appearance that he ate that meat, ate that abominable meat unto the Lord. And I mean, in reality, he might have eaten the beef or whatever, his friend, his acquaintance gave him. What would have that appearance done? What would have that appearance done? Let's stay on what was just read. What did we just read? What did it say in the book? Let's try not to deter from it too much. You're right, though. You are right. But I want what the book just said. Read the very last sentence of that verse. Read it. No. Read it out loud. Baba Kashad.
We're now gone to a strange religion.
So if he gave off just the appearance, let alone actually done it, but if he gave off the appearance, what is the appearance of Eleazar eating, the appearance of him eating swine? He went to a strange religion. He stepped outside of the Lord. He stepped outside of what he was supposed to be following. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
Verse 26.
25.
And so they, through mind hypocrisy.
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 Do you know what that means? You don't? What do you think you should do?
Hypocrisy, the practice of claiming to have moral standards or beliefs to which one's own behavior does not conform.
Can you elaborate on that definition, or do you need me to elaborate on it? Do you understand that definition, or do you need me to explain it?
Is it saying the moral standards that you have aren't? It doesn't match up with your behavior, basically, like what your actions are.
Hypocrisy. It's another way of saying hypocrite. For context, you know what a hypocrite is, right? What's a hypocrite?
Doing something but saying not to do that.
Saying that you shouldn't do something, but you do it anyways. Yeah. Right. So saying hypocrisy is just like explaining what you're actually doing, essentially, right? I think, isn't that what's that called? An adjective, I believe. I'm pretty sure my real, so let me know if I'm right or wrong. Leah, go ahead and let me know if I'm right or wrong. If hypocrisy is an adjective. No, it's like it, not an adjective, an adverb. That's what I meant to say, an adverb. hypocrisy is still a verb, but it's describing a verb. So Leah, if you don't mind, let me know. Huh?
It says it's a noun.
It's a noun?
Yeah.
Oh, she might jump on me. And that's all. Hey, that's the word now. So you said it's hypocrisy is a noun?
That's what it says, yeah.
Okay, no sweat. So it's a noun. But mind you, how's that a noun? A noun is a person, place, or thing.
That's what I'm saying. So,
You know what? That's why they say that English is the language of Babel. It's nothing but confusion. That don't even make sense, in my opinion. But you know what? I ain't no English major. My real, she did her research. She did her time and whatnot. But, and so they, through my hypocrisy, what's his hypocrisy? Is he a hypocrite? Is he being a hypocrite? So, what is he saying though? If I were to be a hypocrite, go ahead.
And desire to live a little.
Make sure you hold on, Salagi. Speak up.
And desire to live a little time in a moment longer should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to mine old age and make it abominable.
All right, Salagi. It can be an adverb, not adverb, adjective. Wait. What? All right, Salaki, it says, I'm not fully understanding that, what you just said. You said it can be an adverb, not adverb, and then, or did you mean not adjective? Clarify that for me. We're going to push on. Okay, so, and so through my hypocrisy and desire to live a little time in a moment longer, should be deceived by me. So that's basically, tell me what he's basically saying. We got a couple more verses. We're going to hit chapter 7 on Tuesday because of time, but we are going to wrap up the rest of this chapter today. You understand? Go ahead and break that down for me, Baba Kashad.
Basically saying that if I were to do something that I told.
No. What I want you to tell me is what is he saying right here? And he said, and so through my hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer should be deceived by me. Oh, so we didn't get to that part. In a desire to live a little time and a moment longer. So through me being a hypocrite, I get to live a little longer. I'm looking at time, so I'm giving it, I'm breaking it down. Should be deceived by me. Right? Go ahead and read from there.
And I get a stain to mine old age and make it abominable.
Why would it be abominable?
Because you're technically you'd be deceiving.
You're deceiving the youth. What are you also? Give me another word for deceiving the youth. Why deceiving? Why is it abominable? What's abominable that he's referring to?
Well, him eating, even though it's lawful food, but the youth, they don't know that. So they're thinking he's eating swine.
So he's deceiving them, right? Which makes them abominable. What does it mean to deceive?
To lie.
To lie. Now, mind you as well, isn't there someone that's walking to and fro this earth that deceives? Not only just blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but everybody that partakes in this world, right? Now, what does that mean for that person? And who is that person? Who is that people? Who is that people?
Esau.
It's Esau. And what are they doing?
Deceiving everybody.
They lying to everybody. You understand? She said no. It can be an adjective. Salaki, I think she means it can be an adjective. Thank you, Shamai. Okay, so what you saying is, just so I can clarify. So hypocrisy is an adverb, but it can be an adjective. Am I correct on that? Or give me full clarification if I'm incorrect. Baba Kashla. What verse was we at? Salaki 25. Now, why would he have a stain on his old age? So but interchangeably, it's an adverb and adjective. That's what you're saying, sis? What makes it what would make his old age a stain, though? Explain that to me.
Because he's deceiving the youth.
Right. To preserve his own life. He's putting his life over what's actually important. And what's the important? What is important?
To follow the laws and still encouraging them to.
Okay, following the laws, but what is important? What's the most important thing? What is the only thing that matters to man, that should matter to man?
The fear of God and following the commandments.
Which, following the law, fearing the Lord, and following the law. Right. But the will of the Lord. Just the will of the Lord. Because the will of the Lord is fear me and follow what the hell I told you to do. Right? That's the only thing that matters. Right? We was on 25. I get this thing. So for you to go against that to preserve your life, and then mind you as well, this is something that you have lived and learned for years. Old age in itself is a blessing from the Lord, that He allowed you to have a long life. It can be a blessing. Let me say that. Because, I mean, hell, you can go 115 years of just straight agonizing pain. And there's a way to prevent that for your next life, where you hit 115 years and it's just, nigga, my life is off the chain, bro. Like, I can't wait to, at this point, if my next life gonna be the best, just as good as, at least just as good as this one, I can't wait to die. Just a restart, so I can run around and be just as dumb and goofy as I was when I was 12 years old. Y'all understand? Like, Lord, allow when I die, Lord, allow when I die and I return in the kingdom. Lord, allow. But if there's still work to be done, then Lord, return me to this earth to complete the work that needs to be done. I will say that. Because me having a good time is not something that supersedes the will of the Lord. It's not something that supersedes the work of what the Lord is asking us to get done. If I can be an asset in my next life, then let me be that asset. Let me be a part of your weapon. Let me be the tip of your spear, God. Let Baba Kashad, let me be the tip of your spear. If I don't get to see the hell rain from the heavens in this life, by the end of this life, then you know what? And you're not gonna have me come back in the kingdom. Then I want in my next life to be the tip of the spear, to be one of them that's throwing it down, really throwing it down for the Lord. And here, quite frankly, right now, that's what I'm setting myself up for. You understand? Lord allow, I'll raise my son that's on the way to, so when he raises his son and they sons, and at any point that I return through my son's seed, I got one hell of a righteous father that don't put me in a position to fall left and right and just stays the course. You ain't shit. But nah. But do y'all understand that? Because these things would become abominable going through all that old age, learning everything to just say, you know what, I'm about to die. Like, even though I'm at this age to die, I'm not ready to die. I'm 90 years old. Bro, Tops, you got 35 years. A lot. You got 35 years, Tops. You live 90. I'm pretty sure the brother had the wisdom to understand that them 35 years are going to go like that. With or without the Lord's blessing. Like that. Gone. Who was also one thing that he also understood that I just spoke on. He don't hear his life might be taken. He's going to return. Right? He know he's going to return. So that's part of that courage as well that you read in these scriptures. Part of the courage that you get from these scriptures is understanding that these people can only do so much to you. Man can only do so much to you. They can only torture you so much. Eventually, you're going to give up the spirit. But that spirit is going to return on this earth. That torment's gone. You start anew. Just like how winter goes into spring, and spring into to summer, and summer into fall, and fall into winter. I kind of messed up with the order of it because I should have started with spring because that's the beginning of life. That's the beginning of all creation, period. You have to put life in it first for anything to begin. And it's the same thing with us. Life began, life flourished, we became old, and we wither, then we hit winter, and we die. But what always happens as soon as spring comes, even though we just watched that tree die, life returns. That grass died in the winter, but life returned. Why is it that the Lord would only set plants to be like that, but nothing else on this earth? It's probably because of the simple fact that everything with flesh is carnal, which is part of the reason why the Lord calls these other nations beasts. Because what is a beast only worried about? The preservation of their current life. But what if you could teach a beast that, hey, you know what? You might die in this life, but you're going to come back. You really think they would care as much about being eaten by the lion? Probably not. But life ain't supposed to be easy. Life is about warfare. That lion's supposed to fight for his food. And that antelope's supposed to fight for his life. The circle of life is still the same for all of us. All of us. You understand? But Salaki, go ahead and read on.
Verse 26.
Uh-huh.
For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead.
For the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men. So if I give off the appearance or I actually eat this swine, man's not going to kill me, right? Yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither live nor dead. Man, the Lord about to punish my ass. The Lord about to deal with me when I know if I do the wrong thing, all bets is off. I'm screwed. And I know this. And knowing this, why would I still do it? You understand what I'm saying? Read on.
Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as mine age requireth.
What is his age required? What's his age required, trooper? What is every old man, every man that grows gray in the head, gray in the face, of old age, what does that age require of all of us? Now, mind you as well, just a small little hint, a man is always supposed to be looked to for leadership and guidance and to receive wisdom. And the older they are, the more they should be pursued and sought after, right? So with that being said, what is required of his age?
Wisdom.
You're on the right track. Give me more though. What is in this situation? Mind you, stay on topic. Keep your mind in the story. What's going to come out of his wisdom? Come out of his, because wisdom comes from experience. What's going to come out of his wisdom? For those that look up to him, for those that go to him, even though he's about to die, even though that he's choosing a glorious death, what comes out of his death? What is being required of his old age that comes out of his death?
Would be a lesson.
Okay, what's the lesson?
Not turn away from the laws.
Okay, so don't turn away from the law, statutes, commandments.
From the will of the Lord.
But don't turn away from the will of the Lord, right? So what is he saying? Shorten it up for me. Cliff note it, if you will. Because everybody want to talk about what the year is, for everybody to understand being all manners of wickedness. It's 2021, so we should celebrate, the month of June as this rainbow dumb crap. Even though that the rainbow stands for something else. What is he saying age is supposed to stand for? Sis said a new life. You right. The other sister said, Shemaiah Baf Yashakar said to teach others. Teach them what? And a new life for what? Y'all on the right track. Go ahead, Trooper.
Courage.
Yeah, courage. To be a beacon of life of courage. For what, then?
For your brothers and sisters.
For your brothers and sisters to follow and uphold that courage for times of what?
Times of adversity.
The times that you read my mind. Most High in Christ, man. Give yourself a hand, Trooper. For times of adversity. Do you think that this is a time of adversity? Yeah, of course, as well. What's one thing that you should take away from the fact that because he's of old age, do you think that anything was any different back then in the times of ancient Greece in comparison to today with what's old age supposed to mean today? Okay, yeah, but I'm saying it on a more of a carnal sense, in a worldly sense. When you old, what's life supposed to be like? For time's sake, for time's sake, man, when you become old, you're supposed to retire. You're supposed to enjoy the rest of however many years you get. You might retire at 60, 70 years old and only get another 4 or 5 years to enjoy your life, but you're supposed to have the privilege to enjoy it. But this brother said, nah, man, just give me a glorious death. Screw it all. Give me a glorious death. Right? But in the midst of my glory, why is it called a glorious death? Because this is something that's going to be looked back on for everybody to be like, you know what? His death needs to be glorified because that's a death I want for myself. Because he died for something. He died for something bigger than himself. Just simply saying, oh, I'm not gonna die eating. I'm not gonna eat swine just because I want to be preserved from you in this life. I fear the Lord. So because I fear the Lord, I have no idea what he's gonna do to me in the next life. Hell, for all we know, he might obliterate me and I don't even get another life. If that's the Lord's will. You understand what I'm saying? So why even play? Why even roll the dice? Why play roulette in that sense? You understand what I'm saying? When, mind you as well, in the second Maccabees, there's still a prophecy that they're aware of that a savior is on the way. You think he wants to risk disappointing the savior in the time that he's being preserved? The Lord said, you know what, I'm gonna wait until after Yahushua comes back, then I'll put you on the earth. Now you stuck with that judgment of what you did. You know, Maccabees was thousands of years ago. The ancient Greece was thousands of years ago. And to be stuck with that, because mind you, there is no real time frame for when you come back. And the Lord says, I'm going to reserve you. If he says, I'm going to right back. As soon as you die, you coming right back. Fuck it. Or preserve you for however long. That's the will of the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? You want to roll the dice on that? Y'all understand what y'all playing with? You think you might get away with it in this life? What about your next life? You think everything's all good, well, and dandy. But the crazy part is them people that you be looking down on in this current life, you probably gonna have a life that's lesser than that. Because you wanted to be goofy as hell with the knowledge. Read on.
Verse 28.
Uh-huh.
And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
Cut and dry. He said, I want to be an example for those that are actually trying to follow the law, statutes, commandments. Like who? Like who? But the funny thing is who followed that? Who kept his memory in remembrance? Out of the sake of brotherhood, out of the sake of the law of brotherhood, who maintained that memory? Who? How did Eleazar maintain his own memory? Who came after and maintained that memory? The king did. Yahushua Mashiach. Because mind you as well, he read this. And so you know what, there was brothers before me that were brave and had courage. I can be like that. I can be just like this for the sake of the Lord, just like him. Read on.
They that led him changing good will they bear him a little before it into hatred, because the aforesaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind.
Hold on, so read that again.
They that led changing the good will, they bear him a little before it into hatred, because the aforesaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind.
I mean, I was like, man, what this nigga talking about? He just talking. Go ahead.
But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in my body by being beaten, but in soul and well content to suffer these things, because I feared him.
So at the end of while he's being beaten, so at first they was kind of questioning, man, you fronting, bro. What's going on? You just talking. But even during the midst of him being beaten, he didn't say, "Oh, stop, please stop." No, he manned the hell up. Not even manned the hell, because he already manned the hell up before the lashings, before the beatings, because he was prepared to take him in the first place. You understand? And this is exactly what I'm saying, is that Yahushua followed that brotherhood. Yahushua saw that and said, you know what? Because a brother did that to teach me something in future generations, I'm prepared to do the same thing for my whole nation. Because that's what Eleazar did. You understand that? Because mind you, Christ went through a similar situation. Something very similar to this that he read about. And in the middle of being hung up on that cross, he didn't say, "Damn, okay, what y'all want me to do? Denounce the fact that I know I'm king?" No, I am king. And I'm gonna see this through because this is the will of the Lord. He was prepared. He's shown that he was prepared to give his life up for his nation, just like Eleazar did, for the sake of the youth, even though that they doubted him at first. And mind you as well, I'm part of those that doubted Yahushua Mashiach at first as well. But that was before I was learned, before I was taught by the truth. When I was just taught the Christian ways, when I was taught without the books that was removed from the Bible, I doubted Christ what he did. It sounded like a fairy tale. But then when I came across Commanding General Yohanan, and he told me to start studying from the Apocrypha, and I come across a story like this, a nigga gained some courage. More courage than I had from even being in the white man's military. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
And thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation.
Now, before we close out the class, who was this brother an example to? Yahushua Mashiach. How was he an example?
He died for his nation.
He died for his nation with virtue. You understand the comparison I'm making? Do you understand why I started this on the Brotherhood class yesterday and came into the law with the law of brotherhood into today? And I made sure that we finished it today in the law class, because brotherhood is a what?
It's a law.
It's a law. So do you understand why it's important for us to read a book to understand and read a story like this? Do you understand why I took the time that I took going through this chapter to make sure that at least those that were willing to participate understood what was being read? So like, do you understand that?
Calm.
Do you understand the brotherhood that you are able to take out of this story? This is a story that came before Christ, mind you, as well. But again, brotherhood, the reason why in the ISUPK that we say that brotherhood is a weapon, I love to say myself that brotherhood is such a weapon that not only is it your sword, but it's also your shield, man. It's something that protects you, but also attacks for you. What you can't do, that brotherhood is gonna do. But at the same time, what that brother and or sister cannot do, you gonna do it. You understand what I'm saying? If they say double-edged sword is what brotherhood is, that's not the case. Because a double-edged sword in the way that it is understood is the fact that both sides is getting inflicted with a negative impact. That's why I like to refer as brotherhood as the sword and the shield instead of a double-edged sword. Because when I trust on this trooper right here, when I trust on the officers above me, you understand? I know that not only when I go to do something, prime example, when I went out to Arizona for my very first camp speaking, the Lord allowed me to have my little brother, his first camp was his first time reading. But that was my first time speaking. We had some heathens approach the site, and I had to trust in my brothers around us pulling shamar, pulling security, pulling watch to protect me and my brother. You take me out, he the only one that's left of my father's seed. You understand? And I'm just the eldest of us three. We got a baby sister. You understand what I'm saying? But the point is I not only did I have the trust and confidence in the shield being them brothers that was around for that camp in Arizona, I trusted them that they would protect me. So when they was coming up aggressive, it was almost like it didn't even happen. I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't trying to speak to them. It wasn't my rank or my place to dialogue with them in the first place about what they wanted to dispute about. They wanted to dispute something. There was an information table they was being directed to, but they just wanted to try to lash out. And the brothers that was out in Shamor did an excellent job out there in Arizona the week before the Passover to make sure that my brother and myself was not harmed and that we can just keep pushing to do what the hell we was out there to do. Double sword my ass. No. My brother and myself, as the brotherhood, as the fishermen that we came together as, we was the fisherman's sword. We was that harpoon striking the fish to hurl them in, to strike that spirit within them, to reel them in so that they can become a new creature. You understand what I'm saying? In the midst of that, the brothers around us, while we was doing our portion, doing our job, it was being the shield. That's why I will never refer to brotherhood being a double-edged sword. Because that analogy is something that entails that the swinger of the sword is being inflicted with pain and is being inflicted with affliction, just like the person that's on the other side. That's not the case, especially in the ISUPK. You understand? We are the sword and the shield in the same term. You understand? When I attack, my brothers is defending. from all angles. You can't even get a small slither of an arrow to penetrate me because I believe in my brotherhood that much. You understand? The Lord is with the ISUPK. And I pray that y'all understand. You understand? Next week, we're going to go into the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 7, starting from the very top. We're going to read the end of chapter. Lord allow, we can finish it tomorrow. You understand? So I encourage y'all that are watching currently to read ahead, to generate any type of questions, or even prepare yourself for any questions that I present y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Before I salute y'all out, for those of y'all that are on Facebook, watching on Facebook, make sure that you just take a few moments to hop over onto the YouTube, ISUPK Nevada. Thumbs up the video, promote the algorithm, you know what I'm saying? And then also subscribe onto the ISUPK Nevada YouTube page. And those of y'all that are on YouTube, make sure that you hop over onto Facebook. Go onto the search bar, type in ISUPK Las Vegas, and thumb up the ISUPK Las Vegas Facebook page, and thumb up the class and share the class. You understand? Do your part to promote this word and spread it out to the four corners of the earth. Because you know what? Some of the things that you just learned tonight, some of the things that you learned yesterday, some of the things that you're going to learn tomorrow, and mind you as well, I'm not speaking about just ISUPK Las Vegas. Anytime that you see ISUPK, whatever zone, whatever area, you should do your part to spread out that word, to spread out that truth to the four corners of the earth. Because that, for those of y'all that understand the pain and the struggle that we're going through as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you should understand that this truth that we speak in the ISUPK is the only way, is the only solution, the only solution to resolving our problems as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. As of right now, Commander and Yohana in the physical form is what is going to lead us out of the curses that we live under today as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? And with that being said, Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatham to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Alatham Bahashem Yahushua to all the sisters. And with that being said, class dismissed.